We're on. Sorry, I'm running a couple minutes late, everyone. And I know that my mother sent a notice about another webinar that she would like for y'all to watch at 2 o'clock. So I'm going to go through this fairly quickly, and then I will show you the link to the webinar, and also you can go there, and I'm going to have it on in here. And if y'all are here want to ask me any other questions, that's fine too. Let me see if I can get this lower, which is always a little hard. So, what I wanted to talk today about is, of course, the lead list stuff, which is what I usually talk about until I get distracted. Try not to be distracted. Oh, first of all, let's introduce ourselves. I think everybody, but go ahead, say your name, what office. But...
Randy Walls, Mount Pleasant.
Teresa Porter, Mount Pleasant.
Nora Costopis, Mount Pleasant.
Sandra Yates, Mount Pleasant.
Okay. All right, so we're all Mount Pleasant people. Hopefully there's some people watching online. If you are, email me, Lisa, spelled like Liza, at agentum.com. Let me know. Plus I'll see it, and I can see it. Who's watching from the programming that broadcast it on Agentum TV live. It's being broadcast and recorded, so you can go back and watch. So the first things first. What is the lead list? The lead list is a list of people that are salespeople with Agentum Realty that are assigned leads that come from agentown.com plus all of our other endeavors as a company to bring you business. It's not just agentown.com. There's lots of other avenues that we get it from. Those go in a big pool. That is supplied, that program is supplied by your mortgage and your insurance companies, your mortgage companies, Prosperity, home loans, and your insurance companies are Allstate. I always say that. Allstate, Wally, Burbage Insurance, and Alliance. I should just rename it Wall State, because that's what I always say. So you have those two insurance companies. You have the Prosperity Mortgage. Does not mean that people that buy homes from you through the lead system have to use those. What it does mean is that in exchange for doing this program, the insurance and the mortgage companies ask that they get a chance at the business. So you are to communicate with them about these leads. If the lead is bunk, if there's not a good name, if it's not a good phone number, if it's not a good email address, you do not have to report to them that information. Every day they are going to get a list of all the leads that have come in and who it is assigned to. So when you get one that has a good phone number, that you've written an email to, that you've communicated to in some way or with in some way, you need to email your loan officer, email your insurance agent, say this is what I found out, here's the information, and go from there. So it's a collaborative effort. It helps you also because both the insurance and the mortgage companies have CRMs, customer relations management tools, which co-brand themselves and you and put people on automatic drip campaigns. So when you contact them, say this is a legitimate email address, then it goes in the system. It's got your name attached to it, as well as the lead's name. Then it'll go out on their drip email system. And so it's from Allstate and you, or it's from Prosperity and you. So it's another way to keep you in front of them. It's not just marketing them. And they do want to develop relationships with you because they want to have all of your sales, not just the ones from the lead list. So in order to get on the lead list, you have to fill out a form, which is, if you're looking at agentowned.com, at the very top there is an orange bar. Then in that orange bar it says agent login. You go there, you put your username and your password in. Your username is generally your email address. Depending on when you came to the company, everyone here should be their email address. Anyone before January 1st of 2014, it will be their first name and last name. But now it's email. And then your username, I don't want to say, because I use a standard username. It's not the same for everyone, but it's a routine, I guess you could call it. And I don't want to say it online, so if you don't know it, just come ask me. I'll tell you. Linda downstairs, Linda Vincent, also knows it. So does Josie Hull, who helps me downstairs also. So you want to log in, and then you want to make sure that every lead is put into a group of some kind. And that is hugely important. And I know y'all are sick to death of me telling you about groups. And I'll show you an example of what this looks like in a minute. But the grouping is important because when a lead comes in, it automatically emails you that you have a lead. The system does it automatically. And it selects the person randomly from the lead list. You have to be in the lead list. It's not everyone in agent owned. So it selects the person automatically. It emails you. Great, you've got the email, you contact that person. 7 minutes or less and you've got a shot at dealing with them. Anything longer than that, your percentages diminish drastically as longer you go. So the idea is to get it to you as fast as possible. Emails are not 100% reliable, and that is where the grouping comes in. We ask that you log in to agentowned.com once every 24 hours at a minimum and change your leads from default, which is what it is when it's first there, to anything else besides default. There's a lot of choices, and I can go over those choices. I'll go over it really briefly, then I can explain more later if you would like to know. But even if you just put it in other, that's going to make it not default. If it is not changed from default within 24 hours of the time that it was received by the system, then you are kicked off the lead list. It does not take that lead from you. It just doesn't give you any more leads until you contact us and say, I've updated everything and there are no more defaults. Now, what you're really supposed to do is we like to keep count of how many leads go to which office and what they are. So, if you want to be exact and you get a buyer lead, you would want to group it in your office, not where the person is looking, Mount Pleasant buyer. Or if it's a renter, Mount Pleasant rentals. Today, we're going to assume that every single one is a rental. That is not the case. But that is what the assumption we're going under today, because that is the theme of what I wanted to talk to you about today. So, I can go in, for those that want to hear that further, you can email me or ask me, and I'll tell you how to do it so you're a little more clear. I'll show you an example of a lead in a minute, but I don't want to go on with this forever because I talk about it all the time. All right, so obviously the point of the leads is to get you sales, listings and sales. Sometimes we get straight listing inquiries. A lot of times leads that come from people that are looking to buy homes also turn out to be seller leads too, because they have a home to sell. Because the mortgage and the insurance companies put this program together, There is no charge for these leads. There are no charge for these leads. It costs you zero. That is incredibly unusual. I do not know of another company that does not charge you for referrals from the company. Dad, do you know of any other one? I've never heard of one. Usually you pay the company anywhere 25% is low, 35% is probably about the standard, and upwards, gosh, some of them are 50% for company leads. Ours are zero. Does not mean that they're less valuable. In fact, ours are better leads than theirs. That's another topic I'll get into another day. But this is why we want to do it. So we're not doing this. We're not motivated to have you succeed with the leads because we, as a company, I say we, the company, Agent on Service Group, benefits more from it. We're not collecting anything from that per se, directly. But we do benefit because y'all are successful. And the more successful you are, the more successful we are. And that's the way we've always done the business. So, but today I want to talk mostly about rentals. And the reason is this. It varies because of the time of year. Anywhere from, Dad was saying some statistic the other day, but sometimes it's 50-50 buyer leads versus rental leads. Sometimes it's a little more than that rental than buyers. Sometimes it's a little less than that, meaning more renters than buyers, and then sometimes more buyers than renters. But if you just assume that every single one of them is a rental, okay? Just assume that for just right now. The point I'm trying to make. So this is just rental. The system has no way to tell whether it's a rental or a buyer. Has no way. So when you get it, it's not been screened whether you want a rental or a buyer. Okay? But a buyer and a rental, I want everyone to quit thinking about them as two separate things. It's the same thing. And in fact, I should have, if I thought about it more, I should have done away with that word. We should come up with another word because they're not different. They're the same. So, what do you do with a rental when you get it, a rental lead? You contact them first, best way that you can. If there's a real phone number, then call them. That's almost an invitation to call. This has something to do with intuition, this part of it. The amount of background you want to put into it. If it's a younger person, you may want to text them. They like to text. But if it's a genuine phone number, to me, that is an invitation to call. If someone doesn't want you to call, they won't put in their correct phone number, period. But a lot of times people like to text. Good thing with rentals, even though we're not calling them, separating them anymore, but the people that think they're looking at rentals will have a much higher percentage of putting their correct information into the system than people that are buying. Because people that are trying to rent a house are desperate for help. No one will help them. No one gives them the time of day. Or they have a hard time finding anyone to do that. Okay, so you generally have good contact information. Second thing you want to do is educate them. Right now, in Charleston, the rental rates are exorbitant. They are so high. The mortgage rates are so low. And there's mortgage products coming out that are making more and more people able to buy homes. So the very first thing you need to do is talk to this person in your great salesmanship way. Each person has a different style. But talk to them. Say, do you realize you can buy a home and you will pay less per month than to rent. You get a better choice of homes. And it's your home. And you can have a purple porch if you want, if the HOA doesn't turn you down, but that's one thing. Or you can have 3 dogs if you want, instead of having to deal with rental people. And these new programs coming out, the down payments, one thing that was stopping so many people were the stringent down payment regulations. They have changed such that if you look at the amount of money that it costs to move into a rental, the deposit, the first month's rent, the this, the that, whatever, add that up, that's almost going to be your down payment, because you can do the 3%. You've got the, I should have Rex up here, but you've got those, what are they called? State loans? That's not the right word. But there's 0% down loans in certain areas, but they have 3% down. You can have gift money loans. You used to have to prove where that money came from, whether it was a gift or not. You don't anymore in certain programs. So the programs have really opened up. So why in the world would someone rent? Most people that rent, there's a few different reasons. One reason is that their credit is a 0. Okay, if their credit is a 0, it's going to be very difficult for you to find them a place to rent also. That is kind of a catch-22, and I really don't have an answer for that solution. I'll have to ask the property managers what you do in that scenario. Yes?
Someone suggested that they give a cosigner.
For rental? Well, that is something property managers would have to decide, and I'm not going into that, because I want you to quit thinking about renting them something. I want you to sell them something.
Same thing with a co-buyer.
Well, but I know, at least at one point, the mortgage rules change quickly, so it could not be, it may not be correct right now, but at one point, even if you have co-signers, your co-signer is only as strong as your weakest link.
They have
As far as
the same way.
Right. So what I'm saying is that if someone's got a 0 credit score and you've got someone with an 800 credit score, they're still not going to be able to buy a house, which it may work differently with the rentals. But we're not worried about rentals. So that's one reason why. But you would be shocked at how many people these other, well, there's 3 other categories they fall into. One, they don't know they can buy. That's huge. That is so many of them. They don't know the process. They're intimidated by the process. They have never taken the time to look at it and see what goes into it. Doesn't have anyone to guide them through it. So they just rent something because they don't know. It's too big. It's too scary. That's huge. Another person is that they've lost a home to foreclosure or short sale, something like that. They're rebounding. A lot of those people are now able to buy again, and they just don't know it. So there's a large percentage of rentals. I don't want to even say a percentage, but there's a large group of them, enough to be this group of people to be very worthwhile, worth your time to mess with. And then there's people that just don't want to do anything but rent because they're lazy. Oh, and then there's people that want to rent for a year before they buy, so they know where they want to be. Of course, no-brainer. That's a fantastic lead. You rent something to them for a year, you sell them. But that's all about keeping in touch with them. Okay, qualify them is what I was talking about. You know, get them to talk to Rex, do a little quick pre-app. Try to get a little base score. Don't intimidate them too much. And then you sell it to them. I mean, you tell them why they need to do this. And it is amazing how many people will do it if you just tell them how to do it. Okay, biggest thing to do is you got to contact them. I guess I go through all this, which I was just talking about. Contact them any way you can. Phone call, text, email. Now, if they don't want to buy something right now or rent something right now, you want to contact them once every 21 days is the optimal amount of days in between per marketing strategy gurus. So you would like to contact them in some way. Postcard, email, phone call, text, get your name in front of them in some way every 21 days. The very best way to do it in addition to that, I would put it in addition to that, is have them on an automatic email from either the MLS, well, I'll say the MLS right now, to have listings sent to them daily that match the criteria they're interested in. Because it comes from you, your name's in front of them, and then they get information they want. So educate, we talked about. You tell them that they can actually do it, qualify them. You got to see what money they make and what their score is, and then you sell them a house. And you also think about long term. Each one of these people, even if they rent right now, and some people are borderline. Well, if they're borderline, you know, help them go in a direction that they can buy the next time and get them going in a forward direction. And if they're executive, you know, looking around, obviously don't just talk to these people and rent them a house and not talk to them again. I can't tell you how many times this happens. It's over and over and over. So when you do all this, whatever you find out, if you would please put it in the notes in your, it's not required, but put it in the notes of your lead in the back of agentum.com. I will show those of y'all that don't know in a minute. But put it in there, but mostly communicate that to your insurance and your loan officers. And then they can use that to sell you. They are not, the loan officers and the insurance agents get the names of all the leads once a day. The loan officers will never contact anyone earlier than 24 hours than the initial lead that comes in. So there's always 24 hours between. If you haven't contacted somebody in 24 hours, or at least attempted to in 24 hours, you don't need to be on the lead list. And the system actually bumps you off. So, meaning that default has to be changed. The system knows you know you have it. You get bumped off if you don't do something in 24 hours. After 24 hours, the loan officers get that information. There's a tremendous amount of information. So if y'all will communicate to them which ones have good phone numbers, which ones are you know, whatever you find out, you're going to help them weed through the process of what's what, and you're going to make better relationships with them. And then they will, in turn, help you to sell them homes, especially these rental people. I mean, they're going to need a lot of guidance with the mortgage people, so you really want to work hand in hand with them. Insurance agents will not contact the people. They get the list the same time the mortgage people do. They will not contact them for 72 hours from the time that they get, or from the time that the lead was registered. And they won't contact them for 6 months if you just email them and say, look, I'm working with these guys. You know, that's not where they are right now. So let's just put that on the back burner and 6 months touch base about it. And everybody puts it on their Google Calendar to remember to do that. But they're not going to do it if you tell them not to. If they don't hear anything from you, they're going to work that lead, and they're going to work it on your behalf because you aren't, basically. Because if they don't hear from you, they don't know that you're doing anything with it. They're not dropping your name, but they're still going to do something with it. I wanted to say a shout out to Taisha Commodore. She's not in the room. She may be watching. I hope so. I have gotten at least 3, and I think 4 emails from Wally Burbage Management about what a fantastic job she is doing with sending information to the insurance company, with the insurance agent, saying this person is looking for this, and here we are. Just communication. I mean, and she's done such a good job that they have gone out of their way to write to my father, and I was copied that she needs some recognition for doing what she's doing. And she's brand new and doing a fantastic job. And Judy Danny was supposed to be here today. I think a lot of us know she unfortunately hurt her foot the other day, so she's not here. But I wanted her to be here to tell you about, she was riding when she hurt her foot. I think she was riding her third contract from a rental in, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks. I mean, she's just been bam, 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 bam. And there are rental leads that come in, and she's changed them over, and they're buying houses. And she's just knocking it out. And I wanted her to come in and tell you how she does it and why, but she does it. And the why is there because the people can. Real estate agents in general have an attitude, I don't want to deal with renters. That's wrong. We need to just wipe that out and think of all the same. Questions you can ask to me, Lisa at Agent Owned. I know there's the other thing. Oh, it's at 2 o'clock. Well, let me show you real fast, and then I'll turn on the webinar that y'all want to see. And I will put this on with my notes up on the website agentontv.com so y'all can see. And let's see here. I can get, I think, where's my, come on, Gracie. Teresa. Actually, I know you and you know the back end pretty well. Have y'all looked at the back end at all? Mm-hmm. You have? All right. Watch this, and if you want me to go over the back end, yeah, if you want me to go over the back end after this seminar, I will with you, but I know that Mom thought this was important, so let me get that to you. And it may sound kind of all Greek now, but it's it all starts making sense after a while, I promise. It really does. It's so funny. Mary Purdue, who has done some of those rentals and a year later sold them something, which is really great. She was so funny the other day. She started doing Twitter for the first time because I've been trying to get her to do it forever. Okay, now this is it. Let's pull it over here. See if I can get the volume. And she's now in love with Twitter and just going, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. I can't believe. Thank you so much. And she's just got so many followers and all this stuff. She's so psyched about it. Now, okay, here we go. Oh, please. Come on, please, please. Aha. Speaker's 100%. And it's saying it's going, so. I don't know how Stokes has this set up. This may not work.
Lisa, what's up in that left-hand corner on the screen?
Is that a sound button?
Well,
left hand.
Yeah, down there under the 4 steps to becoming a listing, and then on down, then there's that little, all that little stuff there. Is that?
Okay, what does it say? Refresh.
I can't see it from here.
Yeah. Oh, there's a speaker.
There's a little speaker button.
Volume. No, come on, volume. Does it have to be a bar? Yeah, it looks like the bar is empty. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Well, I can put it on my computer if y'all want. Unless y'all have your own laptop or something here. Oh, yeah, if you can turn on your speaker, then I don't know if it would coordinate that.
Man, I have to find it.
Stop. Fresh. Oh, let me refresh.
I've already done that.
Volume. Okay. Well, it's saying it's turned up here. I am a Mac person. I think I said that. I'm sorry. It's they're set up a little bit differently.
Isn't that a volume button up in the upper left hand?
Right here?
That's what we
Yeah.
found.
Yeah, but it's got
Oh.
it's got volume going too. But as long as it does it. I'll keep it.
Cells do the same thing. You need to be in with them that night before when they're checking you out. The same way you're looking at the house and putting up the comps and making sure everything is right in your presentation, they're taking a look and let me see what's taking place. Now look at the two people there. The husband's in the background sitting in the bed. Online, typing in your name, looking at your Facebook page, looking at your Twitter account. Who is this person? This person is going to come into our house tomorrow that we're going to need to trust with the largest asset we have. But look at the wife. She's there going through a book, learning a little bit about real estate. And I think that picture really exemplifies what you need to do by building that rapport before you even get there.
This guy, I'm not going to interrupt him a lot, but this is a fantastic point. People researching houses a lot. They're now researching agents as much as they are houses. You have got to have, you've got to have yourself out there.
They're going to continue to check you out to the minute you're not going to do it. And ladies and gentlemen, this is what we know. The latest study last year was 2 out of 3 people. We know that number is going up every single day. So while they're checking you out, I want you to have them there next like this other